everybody, it's Safi and Marco, Dish Out on the Movies. But today we are doing the next episode of MasterChef. Hey, MasterChef Junior.
Excuse me, gotta make a distinction. You have one show where they're very mean, and then you have another show where they have to keep themselves from being mean.
Yeah, which I think for Gordon it might be a stretch.
It's harder for Aaron. It's harder for him.
He doesn't have patience for people who are lazy, that's for sure.
Well, he's very straightforward, and I would say he's probably the best judge this season because he's not biased this season very much at all, and he's very helpful, but he's also very honest when it matters. So, Safi, talk about the episode "Where's Walnuts?" Wow, what a great title! I'm glad that someone got paid money to come up with that title. I'm glad that out of all the titles that they could choose, "Where's Walnuts?" is the best they could come up with. Like, you thought that the X-Files episode titles were bad. It's like, no, MasterChef Junior episode titles take the cake. Literally in this episode.
Okay, well, the fact is they had the challenges they had tonight. I thought were really good, and because they were rigorous, meaning they took some thought and creativity. Whether the thought and creativity panned out in the end is another story, but it still took it was interesting because you had this you have a big wooden box. They all lifted it up, and then you had a tiny box under that was wooden, and they lifted that, and everybody had like a little egg cup which had a little walnut in it. So they had to come up with a dish in 60 minutes which featured walnuts. Not just a walnut, but walnuts. And so they ran back into the pantry, and they had these big bins, and they were loaded with walnuts. So you see these kids, and they're loading up their basket with walnuts, which was kind of interesting. It makes this little clink, clacking noise, and
Really, Safi?
yeah, I thought it was interesting, but it was fun to see what they were going to come up with. Now, personally, the only time I use walnuts are in like a bread, or like a cake or a bread, or maybe a salad.
You just have them raw. I don't
like raw walnuts.
You just have them raw with salt on them.
No,
thank you. Yeah.
Well, I don't.
That girl in the episode did, the teacher girl, whatever her name is, and she eats them as a snack. And
that's right, she did say that.
You will too.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
I don't like walnuts.
Because they're healthy for you. They're good for you.
I don't like walnuts.
Do what
I don't mind it mixed in with bread. But I don't really like walnuts. We used to have...
I do.
We had a walnut tree. Where I grew up, we had a walnut tree.
Let's see.
And it's fun to compete with the squirrels for the walnuts.
How would I rank the nuts?
That's really stupid because there was only one kind of nut. Oh, I don't know what you're talking about.
What do you mean?
So,
there's peanuts, there's Brazil nuts, there's pecans, there's
they weren't in
pine
the
nuts.
episode.
That's beside the point. I'm just saying in general, like, how would you rank the nuts? Like, peanuts, pecans, pistachios, Brazil nuts, walnuts, cashews. Ew, cashews are, like, really overrated.
I like cashews, but I wouldn't rank them number one.
I
usually have cashew chicken.
I would put pecans at number one, and I put
like pecans.
Peanuts.
I like almonds.
Oh, wait, no, not... Wait, which ones are pecan?
Pecans are the ones you pull out of the nut, and you've got to pick them out, and
wait a second.
They're big. They're oval.
walnuts and pecans are like they.
They're kind of alike in that terms
Oh
of that.
shit! I can't even. Wait, pecans. Oh, I think walnuts, and then peanuts, and then pecans, and then Brazil nuts, which are pretty underrated in my opinion. And what?
I don't like Brazilian nuts.
I do.
Ugh.
So
Anyway, but that's all beside the point, and that's our personal taste. But tonight we got to see some of the people who have been flailing, and then others who they
And
don't
failing.
win anything. They always get into the where they have to compete to make sure they're not going to go home. Do just fine, like the little girl who I call Pearls, who Marco calls something else.
my fair MasterChef Junior.
Yeah, she never wins, but she does an excellent job. And let's see, what kinds of things did they come up with? Well,
They
I
just
don't wanna
took
get lamb.
they just took meats and desserts and then put nuts on them. That's
Yeah.
basically what they did.
Yeah.
And so that's pretty creative. Pretty, no one's ever done that before. And, but yeah, you really saw in this episode a lackluster. To me, it was sad because the episode was better than usual because it really reminded me of a typical MasterChef episode in terms of format and structure. Like, you got to see all the contestants' food and everything.
That was nice.
And
I really liked that.
it felt so typical, the Elimination Challenge, Mystery Box Challenge. The downside was it was very lackluster of an episode because, in my opinion, you have two issues. Number one, all the kids are way too nice to each other.
Yeah,
and
they do like each other. They're very friendly and very supportive.
They're like a big family of
Yeah.
okay, I'm not gonna finish that one. You got they're like the Manson family in a way.
Oh my God. They're very nice kids, and they are respectful and supportive of each other, which I think is nice.
Except for the slob though. The slob he kind of got the and then of course the epilepsy girl, she just got completely cheated out of the show.
Yeah, she sure did.
Like, she should be there over like 4 of them that are still there, honestly.
Yeah.
And
this is one thing I hate about this show.
Yeah.
Because it's happened now more than once.
You always have these people who don't deserve to be there. They're in the bottom almost every episode, and they always get like a million chances.
Yeah.
And then you have other people who make a mistake for the first time.
And it may not be a real big mistake either.
They're immediately sent home.
Yeah, I that's the one thing that irritates me.
I don't like that. I think it's shitty, and I think it's
I wish they would do something about it, because this isn't
stupid.
the only season that's happened.
It happens all the time on every show, like even Hell's Kitchen, any show. Even with like Cutthroat Kitchen, like other cooking shows, like you'll have people, they make all these mistakes, and you have other people who make one mistake and they immediately get sent home. It's pretty ridiculous. And we saw that in this episode. We'll talk about them at the end, because I'm not afraid to talk about it. And that's not the only issue. Because I was talking about the first issue is they're too nice, they're not competitive, they're too friendly. It doesn't really even feel like they care. It feels like they all are just kind of like, oh yeah, we're all a bunch of little rainbow riders, and we're all having fun, and we're eating lollipops and dancing and to Disney Bop, and we don't really have to try that hard. That's what it feels like. It doesn't really feel like anyone cares. except for maybe the girl who what was her name? Sierra,
Yeah.
the one
She
who
actually
did the
talked
best.
about, what did she do? Was she sick or
She
had
got
an
an injury
accident?
from sports,
Oh, okay.
and
She hurt her back
she had to wear a brace,
for
and
almost 24 hours a day.
cooking helped her get through that. And honestly, she seemed like she wanted to be there, and she tried.
Yes.
And then also, well, no, not her, but yeah,
There's
Sierra
another girl.
tried.
There's another girl there too. I call her. She reminds me of a teacher.
Oh yeah, she's
black
good.
haired girl.
She's good. Yeah, she acts like she wants to be. She acts competitive. So those two act competitive and act good. All the rest of them kind of act like they're all just a bunch of friends and family, and they don't really have a competition to do.
But not that those two girls aren't friendly with them either. But
Yeah,
they're
friendly, but you know they know that they're in a competition.
That's right.
So, it's like, well, okay. And so those are the two issues. And then you also have the fact that you have all these players who flew under the radar because of the poor structuring of the show. And like with Sierra, like I didn't even know Sierra existed until this episode. Like I literally didn't even know she existed. I thought, like, who's that? Is that a new person? Is that like someone new that came in to replace someone else or something? Like, I had no idea she ever existed before. So, that always happens too on these cooking shows, is that you'll have someone who flew under the radar, and then at the very end they swoop up and they win. And it could be her.
Well, I'm really glad that girl, Sierra, her dish was the best, and it really did look very professional and grown up. I was glad to hear that she had of her personal story, because it was really different compared to things we've heard. We haven't. In fact, I don't think we've heard anything like that before.
Oh, we heard
From
the epilepsy girl.
Well, yeah, but I mean
it's in her name.
Like having to wear a brace for almost 24 hours a day.
Yeah, having epilepsy is worse than having a back brace, Safi.
Well, I don't know, if you're a kid and you're used to being active and playing sports, I don't know.
Well,
but that's a lifelong condition that isn't ever going to change. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But still, I didn't want her to go
cheated.
home.
She was cheated
Yeah,
out of this
she
competition.
was.
Just like the slob.
No.
Yeah.
Marco was just totally focused on that slob that was sent home last week, and he deserved it. I don't want to talk about him again because
God,
he deserved
Safi!
it either. Sorry.
Well, you're gonna have to, because I'll make a video where I cook for you, and I have to say why we did it.
Nah. So anyway, I don't know what to say about it, except that the season winner from last time, which I don't know when that was, MasterChef
2019.
Junior. It must
Maybe.
have been. It sure was a long time ago. He was a guest, and
Yeah,
so he actually went around.
Basically, this episode should have been called "Gay for Che."
No, Marco.
Because I'm not kidding, guys. Like, everyone was like really into Che. Like, I mean, really into him to the point of where it's kind of questionable. Like, it's almost like they were all told to act like that or something. Because he's the most recent season winner, and so it seemed really weird and unnatural. And then let's talk about the Asian girl, Leah.
Mhm.
Okay, I finally got her name. She's a good cook, and I've enjoyed her dishes throughout the competition. She's probably like the top 4.
And
top
she's
3.
competitive too.
Not in this episode. In this episode,
real quiet about it.
She
though.
was distracted
by him.
And so that's what I wanted to talk about, is that they had this whole weird storyline where he was fawning over her, she was fawning over him, and it was almost like he was told that she liked him, and so they like encouraged him to flirt with her
For TV.
and do this TV crap, and it was like kind of gay.
And I don't think, I don't really think that would normally happen.
It was really weird.
And she's going to get in trouble when she goes home.
I don't think
because she's Asian, and they're gonna like, why were you so distracted? And she was very upset with herself. She wasn't happy that what happened was the second part of the challenge after the walnuts, the person that made it up they only had one person who was exempt from being eliminated from the show tonight. Just one, which surprised me because last week it was 3. I didn't get that, but so they have one, and it was Ciara, and that's the one that had to wear the back brace, and her dish, and she baked and baked and baked and baked and baked during
Let's just call her Brokeback MasterChef.
Oh, for God's sakes. But anyway, it showed her experience, not just making something, but in presentation. And it really did look very professional, what she made. And so anyway, she was the one that won and got to get beat. You know, she got to go upstairs.
Okay, so then Leah, the problem with her dish was she could not figure out how to make caramel, and she tried like 5 times, and it was so funny.
She ran out of time.
It was so funny because at the very end, like, it was probably the funniest crying I've ever seen on the show, where like and they had it framed perfectly too. They had perfect shot composition, and to where she's like standing over her food, and she's like, my food isn't good.
Well, she was very.
I think caramel.
After the walnut competition, they all had a flambe, which means setting whatever they were doing on fire.
Yeah.
And it had to have the flavor of being on fire. And so I guess she did that, but somehow the caramel did not work. And she made it several times. It just would never work.
It was sad.
She was very upset with herself.
It was sad because Aaron, he came over to help her, and it's sad that his help didn't work.
No.
Because Aaron, he probably makes caramel a lot because, you have a lot of Mexican desserts, they have caramel, and so it's sad that he was not able to help her. And so, but it was so hilarious.
Well,
like
she was
she's
very
crying.
disappointed in herself.
It was so funny.
But she did not have to worry about it because she did not have to go.
Yeah, she didn't even get in the bottom 3.
No, she didn't.
Like
because they know she's a good cook.
Yeah.
And they know that she's very focused and competitive.
When Che isn't around.
Yeah. And they, you know what? Gordon, and he encouraged that distraction, too.
Yeah, he did.
He said something really dumb. Oh, and he's single, too. I almost threw up.
That was so
children.
gay. That was so gay.
I did not like that at all. That was really creepy and queer. I didn't like it.
Like, it's weird because,
they're just kids.
You had that other episode with his daughter going around, and he got upset in that one, and he basically targeted the slob after that.
His daughter is at least 18,
and
I would think. And this is a little girl who's, I don't know, 10.
And Gordon's like,
9, 10, 11.
He's single, Leah. He's single. He's single. What do you think of that, Leah? Are you going to take him out to the club? Would you like me to buy you your limo and your engagement ring?
Okay. Anyway.
I'll become a priest and then do your wedding for you.
Okay, Marco.
That's what he was acting like. Like, he was acting like so, like, weird.
That I don't think I've seen that before.
Yeah, it was pretty creepy.
On the MasterChef Junior. So anyway, let's move on. So what happened with the other people? Well,
let's talk about the let's talk about the bottom three who did the
Bottom
worst.
three.
Because this was elimination, and so the bottom three, they were the ones who were in danger of being eliminated. And you have Mafia Don,
who is
and
he's just doesn't he's not very mature.
His dish sucked.
And
like,
I know he's a kid.
His attitude last episode was just shitty as hell.
He was very blaming everybody.
And I gotta be honest, like if there's one person to blame, it's him this episode. Like his dish sucked.
Well, yeah, all he had to rely on was himself.
He should have he was very close to going home. It's just basically like he puked all over a plate. And it's too bad because he's made good dishes in the past.
And see, they know that. That's the thing.
But he's not worthy of being in the top 10.
No, he's not. And he really does. There's something. He doesn't have the maturity or
I think it's the maturity.
Discipline to up it up.
He's not mature enough to understand the slob or his cuisine.
Oh my God! He just isn't.
He's not mature enough.
He just doesn't have enough discipline, and I think that'll come. I can just imagine when some of these kids grow up. Oh, I was on MasterChef Junior when I was 9 years old, and I made the silliest, stupidest mistakes. And look, here I am now. But you would never have known that watching me on that show.
And then those two jackasses, Safi and Marco, made fun of me.
And then you had the little girl.
Then you had Starla, and I never even knew her name was Starla until this episode, which is really weird because it's such a unique name. So you'd think that you remember that, but I didn't even know that until this episode. And she's basically, I think it's more a proper name to call her like the Chef Wallflower, because she just acts so shy and so just like she's not brave enough to do anything other than to do the bare minimum.
Right. And she's afraid to take risks.
She's too friendly. She's too nice. And, she was in that team competition where she stood around with that other little kid. What was that kid's name? I can't remember. But they got in trouble that episode for just standing around. And her dish, it was so simple. It was like, this isn't top 10 material. This is more like top 10 of the bargain bin material. And then you had
Andrew.
The last one. He looks like Batman Beyond, and his dish sucked really badly. It's too bad too, because it was a great idea, and that's the one I would want to eat the most. A rum cake with bananas Foster, that sounds really, really good. I'd like to have that right now, but unfortunately, he decided in his young mind that the bananas Foster was not good enough. And it was ironic since it was the best part of the whole dish.
And the other chefs, at least two of them, had gone around. Now they split it up with the visiting winner. And they went around, they actually tasted the people's dishes as they worked on them. And they had actually tasted his bananas, and they thought they were delicious. He did not put them on the plate to serve because he didn't think they looked good enough.
And that was another immature thing.
Yes, it
because no matter what, you want to put it on the plate.
Yeah.
No matter what. And not only that, but his rum cake was undercooked and raw.
And that was bad.
It's raw!
Well, they don't like when something's not cooked. You can tell that's that's the last straw with them.
I did think it was funny because Starla, she had a funny little line where they asked her, "What temperature is the lamb?" And it's kind of like a self-gratifying question because it's like Gordon is just so turned on by hearing medium rare, And so it's like he's got to say that as many times as possible so that he can hear people say, "It's medium rare." Like, little kiss asses. But instead, Starla, she decided to say, "It's good enough for me."
Yeah, I thought that was hilarious.
And that was good.
She's lucky because he could have gotten really mad because he would.
He would have
if that would have been an adult.
Chef.
She wouldn't have been. He would have gotten rid of
her. Yeah.
Because he doesn't like that kind of talk. He wants to be the it guy. He doesn't want like, anybody below him.
Anything that isn't medium rare isn't good enough for MasterChef.
Yeah, whatever. But
medium
rare.
rare.
Said that I was so shocked. I just didn't know what to think.
That was a good line.
It was.
That might be the best.
Actually, did a good job.
The best line of the whole season. The best quote, other than
"It's good enough for me." Well, and she was crying because it wasn't good enough for her. She knew she could do better.
No, I'm saying like, oh, that's another great quote. Is like just people crying, because like there's multiple people just going.
Okay.
And so they sent home Batman Beyond because they didn't want to seem racist, basically, and but honestly, to me, I also thought that his dish was the worst. Clearly,
well, he made the unfathomable error of not having his food cooked, and like I said, they won't stand for it because they had one person, I think it was the person last week. They didn't cook something. Something was uncooked, and that really blows them the wrong way.
I honestly might have sent Starla home because of the fact that it's too simple for a top 10 dish.
And they said that too.
I think that I might have done that, but it is close because I really think that the worst one was Batman Beyond's raw rum cake and no banana Foster for you. It's like, just imagine that, like that. It really reminded me of all these TV creators who, they won't make anything. They're too lazy. They won't make more than 5 seasons of 10 episodes of TV because they don't want to overstay their welcome. And it's the exact same type of mindset where it's like, let's put restrictions on our creativity because we don't want to do something bad. And it's like, by doing that, you're just making yourself more vulnerable to criticism.
Limiting yourself.
Yeah.
You're putting constraints on yourself. So whatever you come up with has got to be really good because if
really,
you don't,
really perfect.
When you could have had that's the problem when you simplify yourself downward. And if she would have had more. She said, now I don't know what she was going to make, maybe but she was going to make another thing. I don't know what it was. Starla. She was going to make another dish, and she decided not to because she was afraid.
No, she was going to add a starch element to the plate, but she thought that she wouldn't have time.
Yeah, and so...
She just said starch.
And he pointed out, Chef Ramsay, that the other little girl with pearls, who I call Pearls, because she wears them every week, had made several things, and this is all in the span within 60 minutes or less. And she had done it, and she just focused on what she was doing instead of, I don't know, that's what I said, this girl, Starla, on a previous episode, she just kind of stood around and didn't help. I mean, she did what she was supposed to do, but when her job was done, she just stood there. And I mean, they showed her. She just stood there. And, but see, this Pearls for this episode, she's in the fight for her life because she did not get up on the back. Well, there was only one person. One person.
Fight for her life.
Okay, Marco, there's only one person who could get up on the balcony out of all the kids. Last week it was 3. How does it go from 3 to 1? I don't know. And she competed. She didn't worry about, well, I guess if it's not going to be good, so I better not make it.
It's a fight for
Maybe Marco
life.
could just move on and not look like a laughing hyena. Because I have chores to do besides this.
Wait, so what was she fighting for?
Well, the chance to stay in the competition. How about that?
She's fighting for her life.
In the competition.
My fair MasterChef Junior.
Well, that girl, I don't know how old she is, but she's probably one of the youngest contestants.
Yeah.
And she just does what she has to do. If she doesn't win...
She's gonna fight for her life.
Okay, I'm not going to finish this with you. You can finish it for me. I'll give it a B+.
I give it, it's hard for me because I can't remember any of my past ratings because the show is just so forgettable this season, except for the cast.
It was a little mild tonight. I don't know. It just wasn't very.
I give it a B. I give it a B.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's just a little lackluster. It doesn't feel like top 10 at all, or the fight for top 10.
Now it is. They are the top 10 right now.
Like they do that on Hell's Kitchen, where people have to fight for the black apron, and it's a very intense showdown. It feels like, and this didn't. That's like level 10 out of 10 intensity level. For this, it was like 0 out of 10 intensity level. The only intensity was the fake drama created by Che and Leah
What are you doing?
Leah. The only there's this little drama about her having a crush on him, and that was like the only intensity in the whole episode. And it was intense because it was weird. Okay, it was weird and weird. And, ugh. So anyway, Safi?
Yes.
You better do the outro or you're going to be fighting for your life on this channel.
Whatever. Well, if you like this video and you like listening to Marco act like a hyena, please give it a thumbs up and come and subscribe to our channel and watch the episode and see if you agree with us. And who do you think is a likely person to win this competition? Do you think it's one of the boys?
I think my
Or it's
fair
one of the
MasterChef
girls?
Junior will win because she's able to fight for her life.
Well, she just does what she has to do, and she keeps her nose to the grindstone. You don't see her
I also think
ruminating, going, ooh, wringing her hands and going, oh, I don't know whether I'm going to win or not. I don't know whether I'm going to make it through.
Who's that?
You don't see that. You don't see her at all. She just doesn't say anything. She was one of the criers at the beginning. She cried
every episode.
but now she has stopped. And like she's put her whole 100% focus.
Yeah, she's almost like a Stepford wife now, the way that she's just so like happy all the time.
Well,
like
she's
just like I love being here. I want to make my steak now. Oh, hi, Gordon. I don't even care if I'm here or not.
Yeah, that's the thing. But anyway, so goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.